Oh, word.
All right. Who got that Spotify? Who got that Spotify?
I got Spotify.
What?
Give me
Yeah.
Where did May go? I bet you May. What is May doing? Playing Minecraft? What is she doing? May, where you at? She's playing video games. I'm telling you. Oh my goodness.
Good morning, y'all.
I
How
got
y'all
your mind
doing?
paralyzed. Is it infatuation
morning, everyone.
that keeps you awake at night?
Yeah. Hey, while we waiting, if you have any memories of One Vo1ce, Kai, or dropping Harmony, put that in the chat box. I want to see some stories on the chat box. If you got some memories, go ahead and do that.
Are you thinking of me all the time? What does it mean? Do you fantasize to your surprise? And there I am, making you realize that deep inside wanna be my man. Are you still playing childish games or all grown up? Because my appetite says too much is not enough. I'm curious and I don't mean to make a fuss, but I think about you.
I need to listen to your own song.
When you think about me, do you think about us? Do you think about us? Falling in love, falling in love. Do you wanna get with me, with me? Tell me about me. When you think about me, do you think about us? Do you think about us? And making love, and making love. Do you wanna get with me, with me? When you think about me, tell me, do you think about me? When you daydream, does sweet Marie stay on your mind? Or do you find yourself wishing you were here by my side? Do you wonder if it's possible to get me alone? Or don't you hit me on my page or on my cell telephone? When you're at the club, is there no one else that turned you on? The way you're looking at me, I can tell you wanna get it on. I'm curious and I wanna feel the heat of your touch. You know I think about you. I think about you. Do you think about us? When you think about me, do you think about us? Do you think about us? Falling in love, falling in love. Do you wanna get with me, with me? When you think about me, do you think about us? Think about and making love. Do you wanna get with me, with me? When you think about me, do you think about us? Do you think about us? Falling in love, falling in love. Do you wanna get with me, with me? When you think about me, do you think about us? And making love. Do you wanna get with me, with me? When you think about me, when you think about, when you think about, think about. When you think about me, when you think about, think about. When you think about, think about. When you think about me. Do you think about us? I'm falling in love. Do you wanna get with me, with me? When you think about me. Do you think about us? And making love. Do you wanna get with me, with me? When you think about me. When you think about me. Do you think about us? Do you think about us? Falling in love. You wanna get with me? Do you wanna get with me, with me? Tell me. Am I on your mind? Do you think about us? All of the time. And making love. Let me know. Do you wanna get with me, with me? Think about me. Do you think about us? Me and you are falling in love. Do you wanna fall? Do you wanna get with me? Shine like stars. Tell me. Do you think about us? You're open to and taking love. If you wanna be my man, yeah, take me by the hand. All day all I wanna do is spend the time with you. All night I know you wanna get with me too. Do you think about me the way that I think about you? You can serve me right like nobody else can do. When you think about me. When you think about me. When you think about me, do you think about us? When you think about me, do you think about us? When you think about me, do you think about us? Falling in love. Do you wanna get with me, with me? When you think about me, do you think about us? And making love. Do you wanna get with me?
I can't help but think of the Book of Mormon. That doorbell.
was a time when I used to run away. Anytime I started to fall, 'cause love's never been very kind to me. No, baby, not very kind at all. Until you stole my heart away. Somehow you helped restore my faith in something I thought wasn't for me. Now come so easily because I love you. You're the flame that sets my soul on fire.
I just realized I was on mute the whole time. What? Y'all are answering the questions I was answering. You know, I was asking the crew. So if you're just checking in right now, share us a good memory of Ty, DNH, One Voice, and here you all doing it already. Word up. I'm gonna turn the microphone to Alvin Gubertina to welcome us to this event. So Alvin, whenever you're ready, thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, Nate. I thought you were saying something, but I could hear you, you know. Welcome, everybody. My name is Alvin Gubertina, Student Life and Leadership Manager at the Skyline College. I would like to, first of all, thank you all for joining us in this morning. I'm not sure if your morning is like mine, but it's been filled with R&B and slow jams by these folks in our room today. So I've been getting a lot of like nostalgia and just thinking about a lot of people that I dedicated a lot of songs to. I don't know about y'all, but that was me back in the day, right? So I just wanted to give some thanks to our folks coming in today, as well as everybody joining us. This is Filipino American History Month, and part of our programming is just not just to honor the things that happened in history, but like all the folks that made history, right? So if you grew up in the 90s, right, and you probably like heard these folks on the radio from CDs that were given away, did y'all ever think about how hard that was back in the day to actually go to the events, press some videos, do some networking, then get some gigs, right? It's not as easy as today where we could just have an IG or a SoundCloud or Spotify where we could get a lot of connection. So today we're going to be joined by some like iconic folks and groups to really give us a good understanding of what it took to get to where they are today, and to celebrate the accomplishments that they along the way were able to do, right? So when we think about like Filipino American History Month, we think about all the things that happened historically, meaning that those things can never be taken away, right? So that is why we have our guests today, because their impact on the like Bay Area, not just the Filipino American music scene, but the Bay Area scene, was really, really something to behold. And I know that I have a lot of folks joining from my homies that were just so excited to be here because they listened like me to all your music, and it really created the soundtrack of our childhood. So I'm just gonna throw it back to Nate, and they're gonna talk about this Padlet thing that we have going on, and some of our freebies, like this background that everybody here has going on. They're gonna let you know how to tap into that. So back to you, Nate and Ty. Thank you.
You got a tie. You got a tie.
Yeah, I got it. Good morning, everybody. I'm so glad you're able to come. My name is Tylen Williams. You can call me Ty, and I'm your host with the most. So today, let me go ahead and throw this Padlet into the chat. And this is where you will find our Zoom background that we're giving away, along with the Spotify playlist. And then you'll also find some more of our Philam Music Appreciation Padlet and how to ask questions today. You're going to be going ahead, clicking on that bit.ly or taking your phone out and scanning that QR code. And then after the show or after the event, if you want to connect with our panelists, here is their actual Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, so you can actually connect with them and you can follow up on their music later on. Mm-hmm. All right, Nate.
Cool. Yeah, thank you, Ty. Yeah, so the Padlet, the Padlet link is in the chat box. So definitely hit that up. That's how we're going to be getting our questions for the Q&A session. So definitely log your question in throughout the session. If you're loving what you're hearing, definitely type it in the chat box. Throw some ones in the air. Throw some fire emojis. Whatever. We want to get as much energy into this chat, into this session as much as possible, as we get to do some talk story with our special guest. But my name is Nate Novato. I'm a counselor at Skyline College. I'm also the coordinator of the Cypher Hip Hop Learning Community, and I'm super blessed to be co-hosted with my man Ty. And so, really, to kick it off today, we're gonna start off by providing y'all with an opening performance. But one of our stellar, phenomenal, and amazing student by the name of Donovan Chapman. He also goes by the name of Genso. So give it up for my man Genso as he serenades us in the early mornings of Tuesday. So get up for Genso. Throws your ones in the air. Throws your fire emojis. Show him some energy. Give it up for Genso.
Okay. Hello. Does this sound good? I forgot to do the sound check. Yeah. I was gonna do a different song, but I'm gonna just do this one. Said I don't care if my girl got insomnia. I told her don't trip, just call me up. She gon' call me on my bullshit, baby. Tell me when I'm acting all crazy. She gon' keep me in check, keep me from being a wreck. That girl my Fiona and on Shrek, giving her my best. And I'm sorry if I'm acting up. Baby, I just wanna cut. Don't know why we pleasing all these people that don't care for us. Why don't we just go to the hotel, do some show and tell, put me under your spell. Okay, I'm gonna just switch it up. My friends, they want us to get on the weekends. Girl, she wanted me on the weekends. Ask me what we doing, guess it depends. Yeah, I guess it depends. Girl, wanna take away my options. She wanna take away my oxygen. All she wanna do is box me in. She wanna box me in. Okay, I'm tired, bro. Okay, thank you. I was gonna do an entirely different song, but I changed my mind at the last second. So there you go. I guess I'll link my SoundCloud.
Thank you, Genso. Give it for Genso, everyone. That's a true artist right there, man. Being able to not only
I love you, Donovan.
we got some fans.
Yo, was that John?
Yeah, it was Donovan.
Thank you so much. And you see on Donovan's, he put his SoundCloud on there. Please follow him. He's one of my stellar students. He's about to transfer to a university in the fall of 2021. So this next spring is going to be his very last semester. So I'm super excited for Genso. So give it up one more time for Genso, y'all. Yes.
Drop the ones in the chat, y'all. Yeah. So good job, Jen. So you did really good. It sounds really amazing. I'm about to go click on that Spotify link or that SoundCloud link right now. So now coming up, we have a video performance by One Vo1ce. So this performance was actually done right before the pandemic there or the shelter in place happened. This was during the Kings game in March, where One Voice sang the national anthem. So let's go ahead and transition to that.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red flag almost bursting in air. It came through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Ladies and gentlemen, One Voice.
An amazing song, amazing performance, amazing. All right, Nate.
Did it feel like we was in that basketball game just right now?
Yeah, it felt real. I felt like I was there.
Yo, goosebumps moments, y'all. If you really love that rendition of the anthem, please show it up in the chat box. You know, our special guest, when I think about it, in the 90s and early 2000s, Filipino American music shaped the landscape of music in the Bay Area, more specifically in R&B and soul. Now, whether you were still in high school or in your early years of college, artists and groups such as One Voice, Kai, Drop in Harmony, Jocelyn Enriquez, Pinay, Epic Voices, and many others defined a significant era in Filipino American history. Their music deeply etched into our minds and souls, connecting us to memories that reminded us of street jams, Filipino cultural nights, nightclubs events, followed by late night trips to Lucky Chances, freshman games at Cal State Fullerton, shopping malls and centers like Ceremony, and Filipino festivals up and down California with our CDs popped in our Pioneer CD player, in our Mazda RX-7 or Acura Integras. But at some point, we sang their songs at the top of our lungs, pretending to be that fourth or maybe fifth member of that group. Many of you may be children of parents who grew up in this era. Many of those aforementioned parents may be on this call as we speak. But nevertheless, we're excited to kick off Filipino American History Month with our special guest today. Please give it up for One Voice, Kai, and Drop in Harmony. So I'm gonna do a quick intro so we can get to see their lovely faces so we know who's who. So I'm gonna give my folks, my spotlight folks, some opportunity to find them on the Zoom link. So introducing first for One Voice, we have, give it up for May Saralvo.
Hey, what's up?
Yes.
How's it
Next we
going?
have Marie Saralvo and Monica Castillo. Yes. And if you want to just yell or shout at yourself and just kind of do a little clap, we'll put it in the chat box. Representing for Kai, we have Earl Varai. Give it up for Earl Varai, y'all. Ooh. Yes, there we go. And last but not least, representing the members of Drop in Harmony, we have Sway Penala. Give it for
What's
Sway.
up, folks?
And we got Daryl Dag Siegmiller, y'all. Word. Let's get this forum started. Ty, what's up?
Yeah, so hey, I got a question for all y'all. All right. See, who or what got you inspired to get into music? Who want to take that first?
Shampoo. Shoot.
I think growing up in
Play?
a family that always had music going, I mean, I was always inspired by my mom. She'd be cleaning the house, always with music on and singing along to it. Didn't matter what kind of genre of music. We were raised, you know, in the typical Filipino household with music. And every weekend, that's how my dad woke us up, me and my sister. He'd blast music so we'd know to get up and out of bed.
Yeah, see, I had waking up every Saturday morning, music blasting. I know that.
Yeah,
What about
I
everyone?
mean, I got to say the same thing. I mean, it's just something, especially, you know, being Filipino, you know, you got the Magic Mic nowadays. Back in the day, we had, you guys know the Megastar machine. We had a Megastar machine in our house. My dad just blasted music all day, you know, listened to music that he was influenced by, stylistics, you know, Sway and Dax could connect with that. But yeah, definitely it's just something that that you're kind of born into, you know. So yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna piggyback off what they just said. May and our dad. So he was an avid listener of a lot of artists, including Mozart, the Beatles, the Carpenters, Peter, Paul, and Mary. And because of him, I became obsessed with oldies. I'm still obsessed with oldies. And when we were young, we have a brother, May and I have a brother. Our dad would blast, like Monica said, he would blast classical music or Phantom of the Opera on a Saturday morning, like 7 a.m., like to get us out of bed, like Saturday, you guys, like this is a Saturday. So this is our dad.
Like Beethoven.
Beethoven, Bach, you know, every classical artist you can think of. But the one person that actually propelled me to, you know, consider singing, because we all played, you know, piano, violin, cello, whatever. But the one person that influenced me to actually explore my voice and my singing was my 6th grade teacher. And one day in class, we had like finished a lesson early, and she's like, you know what, we have extra time. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and play some music. Today you guys are gonna sing. And that, she forced us to sing. And we eventually grew to love singing together as a whole, as a choir of like 45 people. And my yearbook, and Monica's in my grade, our yearbook literally says, congratulations to the singing class of 19 something something. And the rest is history. So thank you 6th grade teacher for forcing me to sing back then. True story.
I'm going to talk about like getting into music and the music scene, the 90s scene, because you talked about that in the very beginning, Nate. And I think a big part of us getting to the recognition that we received was that there was a ton of community events, and it was all about building community. I mean, nowadays you guys have all these, you know, online events, but there's still those festivals when we can have them, right? All the Filipino fiestas. You know, I felt like there was a showcase like almost every month, but that was like the motivating factor was like, hey, let's get out there with all the other Filipino acts and we can all come together as a community and put on this showcase and make it good. And that's how we actually came to know each other and, you know, support each other in the music scene. So I think that was a really big factor into building it up. Just the people who put on the events, the promoters who got people to go to these events, and just bringing the whole Filipino community in the Bay Area together for music.
And dance. There was
dance too.
Yeah, it was.
Yep. A lot of dancers. Yeah. We're not including us. We're not dancers. We try to be dancers. Yeah.
Just to kind of piggyback on what May said, I mean, I always say this when people ask. I mean, that whole explosion that we're talking about in the Bay, it was almost like our own Motown, you know, over here in the Bay. So you had that collective of groups, you know, that Nate had mentioned earlier, but really being able to go to these events and share that same passion and love for music, and just really getting away from the space of being at home. Because, you know, being Filipino, living under that kind of household, it's a strict rules sometimes that, you know, that come with that. And so being able to go to these events, share our passion of music, our love of it, it was always an opportunity and great to be with everybody to share that passion.
And thanks to, of course, to our parents who drove us to all these events, obviously, when we could not drive ourselves.
We had to take the bus. But just to kind of piggyback off of that, though, for me, actually, as a late bloomer, it was like, I just remember hearing these 4 guys or 5 guys singing in a hallway, high school, and the acoustics were just, I've never heard harmony. I fell in love instantly, and that's kind of how I kind of got started for me. And then, you know, years later, Dags and I linked up, and we did this. And we've always kind of just been driven by just harmony arrangements, right? And so it was a good, and it was also a good reason for us to get out the house and be out late, and we would just sing until, geez, man, like 5, 6 in the morning, and that was it. That was no intentions. We were just singing.
Yeah.
That was it. Yeah.
Singing at a Saramonte Center, the parking lot, and
the bus stop. We get kicked out of the mall too. Causing all this ruckus. Like,
I mean,
are y'all gonna buy something?
I mean, Sway, that's how we met you guys at Ceremony. Like, who are these guys? Like, that's how we met you guys at Ceremony. That was awesome. It's great. Is that Boys to Men? I hear Boys to Men over there.
Well, they were very pivotal. Like, they were actually our main influence in getting into this, you know. So I guess that's the inspiration, where the inspiration came from.
There you go. Yeah. Hi, Ty. I see you. I see you, Ty.
Let's lead into the next question.
Yeah. Most definitely. And we got a lot of the questions coming up in the Q&A for Slido. So big ups to the folks that's these questions. You know, y'all have like really developed into these dope artists, and you know, people begin to see you. And so the music industry caught wind of y'all. So we definitely want to learn a little bit about what was the experience like being a Filipino X artist in the music industry. I know y'all had Kamikaze Records. I think Kai was part of Geffen for a little bit, and then Classified Records. So can you talk us more about that experience? And I'll direct that question to get it started. Let's direct it to Ann and Earl.
Oh, you mean Errol's gonna go first? Okay, Errol, go ahead.
What's going on? I mean, you know, this is several years back, man. But like, we started independently, and so just like you were mentioning earlier, there's no platforms, there's no social media platforms for us to get, you know, our music out, stuff like that. Like, we really had to work, you know, grassroots style, get our CDs out to different, like, and then it was really just radio. You know, once you got onto radio, that was basically what lit the fire. And so being in the industry, like, I was young, man, and just barely graduating high school, and naive to, you know, what was accepted, you know, at that point. Like, basically, once we had our single, and then Geffen Records, which is a major label, caught wind at that time of our group once we made a little bit of noise. so when that happened, I just remember walking from our the label. It was on Sunset Strip, man, in Hollywood. We were walking. I remember it was with Drew, actually. I don't
Oh,
know,
nice.
remember this. There's like this celebrities walking all over. So our thought process was like, man, our music is out. You know, we got a single out. We got signed, and so man, we about to make it. And so that was furthest from the truth, man. It was definitely something like once we got, you know, out there was a lot more challenges. It wasn't accepted, you know, it wasn't your normal to see, you know, Asian American, let alone Filipino American. Like, most folks don't even know what Filipino is, back, especially back then, going around all around the United States and whatnot. And so it wasn't accepted, man. You know, we really had to work hard to really prove that we belonged, and so it was definitely an uphill climb. That's really the feeling. There's so much that we were thinking about being so young, but it was definitely something that wasn't accepted. Even at this point today, isn't like completely accepted. But we have these platforms where we could really share our voice and our talent. So, you know, that's my feeling towards, you know, kind of during that time, how I felt.
Nice.
Real quickly,
Oh.
Earl,
Yeah.
how old were y'all at that time when you're all making those decisions?
Oh man. So like I said, we're 17,
Wow.
8, you know, like we're barely graduating from high school, man. And but we were working hard. We had a group behind us that was working extremely hard. We would like I said, we go to the, you know, we were dissecting, you know, rhythm reports and you know what states or whatnot, what they're doing, what radio stations were doing. And so, like I said, we're sending our CDs out, man. And I'll tell you, what really blew up for us was, I take credit for this one for Kai, man. Like, I always kid around with the guys because I thought, hey, man, I sparked this. But basically, that one day I had gone to the office to help send out some of our promo CDs and stuff to the radio stations. I ended up sending to the station over in New Orleans, man. And, you know, sure enough, I say maybe 2 weeks down the line, we're checking out the rhythm reports, and we found out that this station in New Orleans was spinning our record 72 times a week. And so that's pretty much how it started, man. Like I said, it's a lot of, back then, it was a lot of work. If you weren't willing to put in the work, you weren't going to get out there.
Marie, you want to jump on that?
I heard that. I have it's my response is kind of like equal parts through things, but just to keep it real, I mean, it was honestly challenging, but in the sense that it was difficult and stimulating enough to want to keep growing as a singer, to learn how to survive and thrive in the industry. And what helped us survive was we had a great team, from management to a street team to music producers, that gave us enough room to breathe, to make mistakes, to complain ad nauseum, and to embrace the whole process. And the whole process was very gradual. For example, so we started out, I don't know about Kai, I don't know about Drop Harm, but we started out as strictly an a cappella group whose stage presence consisted of standing in a half circle, evenly spaced, maybe our shoulders were touching. And then eventually we, learned how to sway back and forth. And then we added snapping. And then once we established that coordination, we executed dance moves that resembled choreography. You know what I mean? As aforementioned, we're not dancers, but we tried our hardest. Secondly, it was overwhelming, to keep it real. I don't know, I don't want to speak for everyone, but maybe you guys can, speak to this. It was overwhelming in the sense where we had positively heightened emotions, and then we had very negative emotions. So it could have stemmed from disparaging comments from the audience, haters. And sometimes these negative thoughts came from our own minds, right? And so we had to battle our own mentality of, what are you doing in this industry? You're not worth it. You're never gonna make it. You suck. You're a fraud. Just quit while you have dignity. So these thoughts permeated my mind, you know, very sporadically. And it was like, really, you kind of create your own world and you kind of get through it. So all in all, it was a constant battle against my own mentality to stay humble, to stay motivated, and to stay grateful for everything that was going on. And then lastly, because I don't want to take up too much time, the overall experience, you guys, was exhilarating. Like, in a nutshell, exhilarating. You know why? Because back then because of the zeitgeist of that time, our active years, I'm not going to say the years because you can look that up later. But we were surrounded by a wide array of talented Filipino American artists that included, but was not limited to, DJs and turntablists, bands like, you guys should take notes, like Julie Plug. This is an alternative band, like bands like Julie Plug, dance groups like Mind Over Matter, Chain Reaction, NPM, hip hop MCs like Urban Icons, radio personalities like Fresca. Fresca is still on the radio. She's amazing. Spoken word artists like Eighth Wonder. And of course, singing groups like Drop in Harmony, Premier, Kai, Panay, Interlude. I'm gonna keep going. Epic Voices, Verse, Simple, Jocelyn Enriquez, Composure. There's just so many groups at that time. So because of all these people, because of our shared goals to simply be seen, to be recognized, the collective energy of that time was so infectious and palpable, like straight up elevated. And for any success that One Voice achieved, right, I attribute a lot of that to all the support and inspiration from all our peers at that time, like seriously. And you know what, I'm gonna take a second to just give a shout out to our sisters, Melissa and Amy, because they were in the group at one point with One Voice. Like, love you guys. If you're watching, love you.
Yes.
And and that being said, I just want to give a huge thanks to everyone watching, you know, Daryl, Sway, Errol, everybody. Because you guys, seriously, like, we saw you guys thrive and we're like, dude, we can do this. And so that's why we stuck with it. And I'm gonna end my answer. Love you, mean it. Okay, bye.
I'm gonna piggyback on that, man. Like, you know, rest in peace, my brother AC. He was basically co-founder of Kai, man. He used to always say this back then. This is before social media broke down, man. He would say this. Continue to do what you're passionate about, even when everything becomes free.
Yeah.
Right? Everything is free right now, like in terms of, but it's amazing because everyone can hear you now, you know?
Yep.
So it's definitely like, to Marie's point, it's a collective of the love that we share. Some competitive like fire too back in the day between groups. It definitely brought us to that level of love, of community. And so that's why whenever we get together, that group of, you know, of talent from back in the day it's like family, you know, every time we get back
it's
together.
so family.
We're all together in that movement.
May, you wanted to talk about something. May, just talk real quick. May.
Well, all right. So there's one point, and it was just about, you know, when you think about me started getting big, and in the Bay Area, you know, people could see the music video on CMC, right? And the Filipino community knew who we were. But when we started to get, you know, bigger and go start touring, and we would go to, you know, all these different shows and radio shows, people would know the song. They would love when the song starts playing, and we go out on stage. But then when we get out there, because there's so many communities that are not used to seeing Filipino artists, we get on stage and you could literally see like jaws drop. They're like, what? These girls are Asian?
Yeah.
They sing that song?
Yeah.
So it was like,
Yeah.
yes, we are Asian, and yes, we do sing that song.
Yes, we have karaoke machines. We grew up with karaoke machines. That the struggle was real, guys.
Yeah.
We have some time to hear from DNH. What was your experience like in the music industry when you're coming out, either Dags or Sway?
Daryl, what do you think?
Excuse my voice, it's all gone, so it's hard for me to chime in. But it was rough. I mean, just to add to what, their experiences also, we started DNH back in 95 or so. It took us a good 4 years to get signed to Classified Records. But just during that time before we came out and just trying to build a community and a following was really tough. Like they said, Filipinos are just not, and Filipinos are just not that accepting. You gotta win them over. They're big critics, and you gotta be a winner, and you gotta be able to prove to them that you can actually hold that Filipino flag on your back. So it was a long struggle, and it was hard work. But we came through, and we wore it. We took it on our shoulders, and we're super proud to be Filipino and show the world what we can do. And like Errol said, it's about passion, and it all pulls through, and it shows that we are who we are, and we're not going anywhere. And with the help of all the other groups, and just all coming together is really what propelled us to get to where we got to, which is not super huge, but again, like you said, when it comes to the Bay Area, that was our base, and we stuck to it, and we never turned our backs on our community. So I think that's why we are where we stand, where we are where we get from back in the day.
Yep. And also, what's crazy is kind of piggybacking off of what Errol said. It felt like it was like a Motown movement. You got to remember, we didn't have any of these platforms during that time. So with we had promoters who wanted to showcase our talent, and it kind of grew into this thing. I mean, you talk about the Bay Area scene. It was these groups, and it was straight up a movement. But we all had to create that together. We had friendly competition and such, but the movement, I don't think we're ever going to really see anything like that for a long time, at least, because mind you, it was a new thing. And so it was kind of crazy as all of us were trying to progress forward, that we were all in it together. And it was a hell of a ride, man. If we had platforms like this during that time, I mean, who knows how much further it could have gone, right? So I feel like this generation take advantage of it. The groundwork has been laid. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful thing to be able to extend yourself and be able to touch more now than it was back then. I mean, we had flyers. We had, on your car windshields, we even had to put those flyers in the car. So now you have social media outlets to promote yourselves and such, but it was a grind for sure, but it made you tough. Thick skin for it.
Everyone's trying to be independent now. Before everyone's trying to get signed just so we can get seen, but now everyone wants to be by themselves. They
That's
can
a good
do it.
point.
Everybody has their own studio at home, and they have all the tools, everything they need to make it. So way different.
I agree. Daryl, you sound great.
Thanks. I'm drying. Oh man.
So
My tea.
So Daryl, you were talking about actually facing challenges of being accepted, right? And you were talking about just some other blocks that you had to face, right? So let me actually write this to Monica. What challenges or resistance from family members did you get going into music?
Initially, when we started singing, my parents were supportive. Actually, we got signed the same year my mom passed away. So I was going through a lot at that moment, a lot of grieving. So, when we got signed, it was this huge deal. And at that time, my dad was my #1 supporter. He just wanted to ensure that we were safe because we were traveling a lot. We were like 17, 18. We were on planes. We were like taking red eyes. We were gone a lot. And my dad's #1 ask of me was that I didn't stop going to school. That's very Filipino. Singing can be a passion and singing can be in the background, but surely if you want to make it in life, you need to, you know, further your career and your education. So that was the one thing that was important to my family and to me as well. You know, I was able to pull through and do both. But I'm just so thankful for their support. I honestly, you know, growing up again, we were always around music. I was in piano lessons. I don't think singing was really like going to vocal lessons and things like that. That wasn't really something that my parents were, you know, looking into. But when they saw that I, you know, was joining choirs and singing at Sunday Mass every Sunday, that's when they said, oh, you do have a niche for this, and this is something you want to do. And they fully supported me at that point. And it did help that me and the girls were family. All of our parents were friends. They all went to the same church. So, you know, that was very helpful.
That's awesome. That's awesome. But balancing, okay, that balance of school and music, how was that? How was that?
Oh, it was tough. Like, I was in nursing school at the time. And, you know, I remember I went to Sonoma State and I was learning anatomy. Me and my girlfriend, we'd go in like at the after hours and we would record the cadavers and the parts and all that. And then I would take that video and watch it while I was on the plane rides. And I would study every spare moment I got, because as soon as we landed from wherever we were going, I was straight to the hospital to clinicals. I mean, it was I don't know how I pulled it together, but somehow I did. It was my drive. I said, you know, passion was the fun. The group was my passion, and that was the fun part of my life during that time. And school was more of the stress, but it all just came together.
Okay. Well, we can actually open that up to everyone else too. Like, what other blocks do you have?
I was gonna say, it's a trip that we were at one point in college trying to do the girl thing. I would never have even known that Monica was in nursing school. Nursing school is stressful AF, and we were young and we were motivated, and so I just want to, you know, commend Monica right now. Like, dude, you know, that I didn't even realize, but yeah, it was stressful. At one point, I took a semester off of college because we were rehearsing so much and performing and traveling. So yeah, just to let everyone know, like, it was rough. Like everyone else has said, like, it's not easy, you know, especially not having the platforms of today, you know. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
But nothing, I mean, in life, nothing is easy. I think that's the thing that I've learned too. You know, nothing is easy. You keep going, you keep working hard and challenging yourself. And before you know it, you're where you want to be. So super important to not give up just because things get rough. Because they certainly did.
I'm going to piggyback on that, because we actually had a serious conversation about, like, okay, are we going to keep balancing school and touring? How are we going to make this work? And there was a point where we were like, there was this, you know, the realization, okay, school will always be there. And this is why Marie was considering taking the semester off. You know, we were like, okay, can we actually keep doing this, you know, all in and, you know, maintain our sanity and be happy? And it was really tough. You know, people ask me like what it was like, and I can honestly say that at that time, you know, having to do all the promotion physically, getting in front of people, traveling from place to place because we couldn't promote socially on our social platforms, I had never worked so hard in my life. And that's with all the 9-to-5 jobs that I've had, but that was literally what it was like. And so that there was this mentality like, okay, you know, if it gets too much, I can, you know, take some time off of school, or I can cut down on my workload. And actually, we got signed when I was a senior in high school, and it was so tough to get that. I was an AP student. I had an AP calculus, physics, you know, and I actually had to drop down from those AP classes. I had to get rid of them. I couldn't hang. Like, I couldn't do AP calculus while we were on tour. I was like, nobody's going to help me. I have no tutor. So just, yeah, keep that in mind. School will always be there. And if you need to, you know, bring your workload down or take some time off. No one's going to judge you because, the opportunity to, explode the way we did was not always going to be available. So we wanted to take advantage of that as much as possible.
Oh yeah. I did take a semester off of nursing school too, because at that point, I think we were getting so many gigs, and even for movies and stuff, we were being called to read lines, and it was just becoming very overwhelming. So I told my dad, because he was very worried that, I might forget that I have this goal and this degree that I'm aiming for. And I told him, Dad, just let us have our time. This is like the train and I don't want to miss it. And I'm so glad that that we got to experience it all.
I really appreciate these responses because, as an educator, I'm constantly working with students, oftentimes having to process, these kind of conversations around like, how do I balance school and music, right? And so, it's very good to hear from folks like yourselves who've actually experienced it. So I appreciate that. I want to pivot to a question from the audience actually, and it's a fun question actually. So, yeah, what was your favorite memory? That moment that you said, "Dang, we just made it, yo!" Like, or you know what I mean? Like, what was that moment? It's like you just remember you were just performing together with other groups, a particular event. What was it?
Ooh, I want to say something. Okay, so May, is this the El Paso? Was that 1999 or 2000?
We went to El Paso twice, so you tell me, what are you talking about?
Okay, so check this out. So, so we had a radio show in El Paso, and there were a bunch of really big headliners, celebrities at that time. And this is my favorite memory. So we were in the lobby of our hotel, and Monica actually just reignited this memory for me. Thank you very much for sharing the picture. So we got to meet Destiny's Child in the lobby of our hotel because we were all performing at the same radio show, which included what? Ja Rule, Busta Rhymes, Tracy Spencer. So we got to meet Destiny's Child, the OG group. Like, this is when Bills was popular. No was like on the radio. And what was the most memorable part of this performance is that Destiny's Child performed first. Okay, because they had to fly to Houston within the hour to do another show. And the most terrifying part and exhilarating part was we had to perform after them. And we're like, oh my God, are you really gonna put us after Destiny's Child? And this happened, literally. Destiny's Child performs, One Voice next, Destiny's Child flies to Houston, we're on next. And so we get on the stage, right? Melissa and Amy are still with us, and we're performing like 2 songs that the crowd doesn't know. They're throwing water bottles, they're throwing shoes at us, just like missiles. And then when we sing our song, When You Think About Me, like May said, it's like, oh snap, they sing that song? Oh my God. So this is my most memorable performance because it's like May said, they didn't know what we looked like. They didn't know that we're Filipino. And it's like, we love your song, but you're Filipino. And so right when we sang that song, they stopped throwing stuff at us. Like, oh, we love you, And so that's my experience. Like, I was like, wow, okay, cool. We can we can put the barriers down, So that was my favorite thing. I don't know about you guys.
How about DNH or Kai? Y'all got particular memories?
Trying to think back, man. Like there's so many times where it was just like exciting to experience. But I would say just hearing our music, not just in the Bay, man, but just like every time we get off, like I remember, man, getting off a flight in Houston. This is when we were just fresh off, starting to travel and do radio shows. But remember getting off a Houston flight, and right when we got into the van, or actually back then early part of Geffen, man, like the early part when the our single was exploding was all limos, and then after that it was but yeah, but anyway, at that time it was a limo, man. But literally walking into that car, man, and right when we walk in, hearing our song on the radio in different states, you know what I mean? So every time we would get off, we would hear that, and I was like, all right, man, I think we've done something now, you know. So when I think of like something that really resonates, there's so many different things, but I would say that for me at that time, that was when I was like, okay, I think, you know, we've done something now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really inspiring stuff, though. Especially, I think Kai was probably one of the first ones. You know, hearing their music, it really inspired us to like, hey, you know what? We could also kind of piggyback off that and do the same thing. You know, what's cool is for us, we didn't have much radio, I guess, but we were still able to reach other places. So for me, I think it might have been our first trip to Chicago, right? When we first left our hometown, you know, and actually perform somewhere else who has heard our music somehow. And that memory is always, it's something, it just sticks out to me because I was like, you know what? We're out here. People are actually flying us out to go watch. Who's gonna want to see us, dude? You know what I mean? And
Yeah, going
yeah.
to the malls and people asking for autographs. I think it's something you'd never get used to. You know, coming from this, you know, little Bay Area and going to Seattle or Chicago and people following us around the mall is just, you know, unheard of. It's crazy.
I just wanted to. Oh, go ahead, Earl. I'm sorry, Earl.
I'm gonna say this real quick. This was. I just thought about this. This was. It wasn't more so makeup, man, but this will tell you the impact, man. I remember, man. We were at. I forget where that show was. I don't know if it was in Sacramento. This was our second album that we had put out, man. We had just put out, and this one hit the heartstrings real good because there was a family that came in and said, "Hey, man, you know, thank you for putting out that second album. I just want to let you know that our son was sick, and the one thing that he wanted was to get your, you know, that second album." And he listened, and they told us he listened to that album all the way up until he passed. So it was a trip, man, to kind of see the experiences and like the impact of just what we were doing. So I mean, that's not more so that we made it, but that was like, yeah, we're really making an impact out there, you know.
Yeah. I just wanted to say something real quick, Nate, if that's okay. No, but I'm just saying, like, so Kai, formerly known as Apex, and Drop and Harm, like, just to reiterate, like, we discovered you guys. You know, you guys were out there before us, and when we saw you guys perform, whether it was like in Union City or at Ceremony Center, we're just like, oh my God, there's Filipino artists out there. And for all of you guys watching who have never seen Errol sing, Daryl or Sway sing, like, these guys are ridiculous. And they have perfect pitch, and I'm just saying, I have nothing but good things to say about you guys. And I just, no, why are you laughing, Sway? Why are you laughing? You're not tone deaf. You're not tone deaf. I'm just saying, you guys are, I love you guys. You guys are the SHIT. Like, you guys are, I love you guys. So.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's all I'm saying. Keep drinking your whiskey. Keep drinking your vodka. Gerald, keep drinking your whiskey. Okay. I'll keep drinking my whiskey. Okay. I'm just kidding.
Loving his energy. You know, y'all really led me to this next question because, you know, I'm hearing that, you know, there's a lot of influences that are happening within this group right here. I mean, I heard from Sway talking about, you know, Kai's influences, you know, One Vo1ce's, Kai's influences, and Jim's influences. I was having a conversation with one of my students, and you know, we're at that age now where I'm talking to my student, and her parent, you know, listen to y'all.
I knew it. I knew it.
And you know, they were having a conversation about like, yeah, you know, One Voice influenced me and my girls to want to try to put together a group. You know, whether it was good or not, they just inspired us. So, you know, I want to direct this next question to Sway a little bit around like, and you kind of like lightweight mention it, so you can kind of build off of it. But I mean, what was the response like, you know, from the Filipino communities when y'all released your music? Like, did you ever thought in your wildest dreams that the Filipino community would be so inspired and resonate with your work? And then this is also for everyone else as well. So I'm gonna give that to Sway.
Never thought we would even be around to be in a discussion like this. You got to remember, man, we were just kids that just wanted to sing with. We didn't know what the goal was. We didn't have a direction. I mean, you know, you have that grand kind of goal of like, oh man, we should get signed or whatever. But really, what are the chances, right? So, especially being a minority, you know, we didn't really know. We didn't know how to get there. We just wanted to sing, and you know, I guess we kind of did something right, because as we got exposed and people started hearing of us, you know, and it caught a little bit more buzz, and so eventually we did get signed. And you know, the cool thing is, 20 plus years later, we're still here telling our story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're still here. People, for whatever reason, are still interested in what we you know, if we're going to put out music and what we say. And actually now we've become like these uncles asking for like advice. You know what I'm saying? They're like, you get people saying like, hey man, you know what? You guys are uncles, because I don't know if you know, but my children were conceived because of your songs. You know, but things like that is just so, we're just really thankful that, you know, how the community impacted us. It's, you know, it's just cool that till today people are still rocking with us. They're still singing their songs, you know, and I just wish for, you know, even future generations down the line to still remember the body of work that we've once put out. You know what I mean? Because really we had no direction. I mean, you just had this thing like, we're singers and we're just gonna sing. Who knows where it's gonna go? And all of a sudden now, 20 plus years later, it's like, okay, we're still we're still around. So
yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna say this, man. Like with Sway, and Daryl said it earlier, man. Like with DNH, man. One thing I'm gonna say, all of us, I think we're proud. You know, of course, being Filipino, but I'm gonna piggyback. Like Daryl said, that they wore it on their chest, on their sleeve. They really did, man. When that Serenade album dropped, can't remember if it was, yeah, I think it's the first one, that first volume. They put out that first recording out, or at least on CD, and they were wearing the Filipino culture on their chest, man. It said in that first song, "Are you ready for a little bit of dropping, Harney?" You know,
yeah.
It's a Filipino anthem, man. It was a Filipino anthem, and so to this day, I've seen these brothers do this at, you know, whatever shows that they've been in as of recent, and people remember it, man. People remember it, and so I'm real proud that, you know, hearing that and the fact that, you know, they wore it proudly on their chest, like, hey man, this is our movement. We're proud, you know, we're proud. So I just want to throw that out there, man. I want to throw that on.
You know, we couldn't have, and the thing is, you know, I want to give a shout out to all our group members, you know, like Neomar, Jerome, Lionel, and God, we had many changes, you know, even, you know, and I don't know if he's on this, but Daryl's brother, Darwin, he was a huge visionary. You know, he wanted us, he was able to, tap into, I mean, his songwriting skills, where he was he was able to have us emote, you know, what it was we were singing about. And a lot of it was the songs and the quality of the songs, and just, you know, helped us mold our identity, you know. So a lot of it, I just want to kind of give shout out to those guys, because without them, you know, we wouldn't exactly be here with you guys, you know. So it was a collaborative effort by everyone.
Yeah.
For sure. So, you know, y'all really came up without using technology, right? You didn't have Spotify, you didn't have social media, things like that. And you really had to just go out in order to have your music put out. So with all of your experiences, what advice do you have for students who are interested in breaking out into the music industry today?
Don't take any of these platforms for granted, man. You know, there's so much opportunity out there. It doesn't have to be like for us back then, it was like a grand scale. We have to get signed. We got, you know, nowadays you don't need that. Like you could work independently. You could get whatever you're passionate out there to the masses. You know, don't take it for granted, man. You know, we didn't have that. We really didn't. And so just the fact that you have that opportunity, if you're really passionate about it, you know, continue to work hard, put something that's quality, of course, right? But utilize every platform that you have, because, you know, you're really blessed to have this opportunity. Like Sway saying earlier, if we had that opportunity, man, I'm telling you, you know, who knows? And we were just scratching at the surface at that time. So I feel, you know, we would have done a lot more, but you guys have that platform, you know, to do that. So don't take it, don't take it for granted. Take full advantage of that.
Ditto.
That's a good answer. Yeah.
No, I mean, I agree. And not even just that, like there's all the platforms, but don't feel like you have to fit in a certain category, because nowadays, you know, I listen to a lot of radio, I listen to a lot of Spotify, YouTube, Pandora. Like you don't have to pick a genre. Just do what comes to your mind. Like just put it out. You don't have to be alternative, classical, country. It's like whatever you feel at that moment, just do it, you know? Don't feel like you have to fit a certain profile. Yeah, just put it out.
Yep. And to piggyback back off of that, and this is going to pretty much apply for anything you decide to do, whether it's music or a different career path, but basically, you know, identify and define your personal brand. Right, I'm giving you some marketing advice right now, but basically you have to decide who you are, you know, what you want to evoke for your followers, your fans, right? How do you want to connect emotionally? How do you want to be perceived? And like embody that to every last thing that you do and own it.
Yeah.
Yep. And I just want to add, you know, just have fun. So when the guys get together now, like DNH, it's all about having fun. I mean, we've done, you know, so much for the community, and, you know, we still want to give back wherever we could. We still want to be invited to all the shows that come up. And when we come in here, we record, we try to make music, you know, getting too serious and trying to make it now is, you know, obviously not the goal. You know, we're way past that. So, you know, just making good music and, you know, having some people still appreciate it, trying to put something out that people can listen to and enjoy. I mean, that's just, you know, our goal and our vision now, because, you know, we're not going to get away from music. It's still, you know, one of our loves and our passions. We just can't seem to get away from it. So, yeah, just have fun and, you know, just keep doing what you do.
I got some quality stuff too, though. It's crazy. No, you know, it's crazy that we come from an era where, man, you had to sing your ass off.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
We really did.
Yeah.
You had to have some chops, you know. And so now what's cool though is that you have all of this technology, you know, to basically be the artist that you want to be, right? But the whole thing about that is no matter what you're doing, like what everyone's saying, that you gotta love what you're doing, because that's what's going to translate. That's what you're going to convey out there, and it's genuine. So as long as people know that that's genuinely you, I think being accepted is just, you know, it's just one of those things where it's just going to happen.
Yeah. I agree.
I concur.
I concur.
Yes.
Me
yes.
too.
You know, I think this is our final question because I was looking at the Q&A and they all kind of align with the questions that we were asked, responding to. So we were all on the same wavelength. I'm gonna build off my colleague, my good homie friend, Janice Apigo's comment. If anyone would be capable of organizing a versus inspired show, I feel like we could do this, right? So it's kind of it's kind of like leading me. Remember those versus TV? You know what I mean? Like, oh, those are some good IGTV moments. But the question is like, what are you up to now? How can we follow music? Are there any upcoming music that's coming out? Or maybe after this panel, you feel like, man, we need to do a reunion tour. I don't know. I'm just throwing out. What's up?
So it's always a good
Crickets.
time though to see each other, you know. So I'm always down for like a reunion shows wherever that will take us, right? As far as doing music, we still do it in a very light capacity, you know. We just have, like, as far as on behalf of like the DNH guys, we have, you know, we have our family lives, right? So it's always a great time for any reason or any excuse to be able to see each other and just hang out. And it's funny because now it's like we just hang out and then singing is secondary. You know what I mean? So I think that's kind of where our relationship evolved into. It's more like it's straight up a brotherhood no more. It's no longer like, hey, we're business partners, you know, and we gotta go get signed or something like that. We just enjoy each other's company, like genuinely enjoy each other's company. And the singing thing just so happens to be there, you know.
Yeah.
But
That's awesome.
would love to do some shows though with everybody here because that's always
Look at Nate.
Organizing.
Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead, Nate. Nate, go ahead and put a show together for 2022 or whatever year. We're gonna be safe. Yeah, put a show together. We're there. Put a show together. We're there. Just book us. Yes.
Hey, just to let you guys know, I just got word. Yes, I don't know if she's connected with y'all, but Nate, I think you know we're cutting candy. So she's putting something together.
Oh, yeah.
You know, hopefully, you know, we'll see where that goes. I think she's trying to do a collaborative effort, so maybe we could get some of the, you know, groups together. I think she's trying to get the Pacifics together, like, you know, from Chicago, so a few folks over there. So maybe linking that together. As for me, man, like, again, you know, our founding member AC, man, he passed, and we were hoping to do some things and do a reunion with the guys, but you know, as of right now, it's on pause. I have had the opportunity to do stuff for my church. You know, shout out incmedia.org, shameless plug. But I've had an opportunity to, you know, share, like, a lot of my stuff I'm sharing for God right now, man. It's all spiritual. So whatever I put out, as of recent, it has gone back that way. So, but yeah, man, like, get it together, Nate. Get it together.
We got some dope organizers in the Zoom room too, so I'm sure there's a lot of folks that can really get together and do this. I'm shouting you out, Joe Boston.
Ooh, we got specifics.
What's up with One Voice though? What do we got going on?
So we're definitely working with different people. Our goal is to have music by December 31st, 11:59. No, we're working with different producers, writers. We're excited to release stuff, but we all have different schedules. We all obviously live, you know, separately. So we're doing our best, but we are working on music right now, and we're excited to put it out, hopefully before the year ends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if you guys haven't caught our last EP, which was released in June, that's out on all platforms. So check it out. It's fun to make music. Again, it's like a family affair. I mean, it's funny when I think back of when we recorded just the beginning, our first album, we threw that together in 2 or 3 weeks. I mean, it was, you know, very fast. And now, you know, I had a studio set up here at my home, and, you know, fast forward, now we're bringing the kids. May, you're bringing Rosalind over, and she's hanging out with my kids, and, you know, we're still making music. It's never going to leave us. It might not be to the same capacity, but I think it's a part of our lives. It's not going to leave. And so I'm proud and I'm grateful that I still have the girls with me, because it is something that I really enjoy doing. And I don't think that's ever going to stop.
I appreciate it. I mean, we're actually super grateful to have you all here with us today. You know, I was just having this conversation with someone. I was like, man, I wish we had this panel live, like in person. But what it did allow us to do is be able to reach out nationally, globally, you know, and have a larger reach. And I think this is a beautiful thing. Just to kind of build off of Sway, it's like 20, 25 years later, we're on this panel celebrating y'all. And I want to just truly, truly authentically say that y'all really, really made an impact in our communities for sure, whether you knew it or not back in the day. But I mean, here we are 20 plus years later and y'all doing the thing. And we hella appreciate y'all for real, for real. Seriously, yeah. So that's why, like, I gotta put my crew together and put this show together.
Yes, put it together yesterday.
Yesterday.
I'm just kidding.
You know, before we close out, we definitely want to close out with a dope performance by one of our truly own talented artists here in our Zoom room for reals. We're at a place in time, politically, nationally, where, you know, we're experiencing so many different things. You know, we're days away from the election. You know, we definitely need to put our votes out there. You know what I mean? We definitely got to get our voices out there because this is a very important and monumental time in our nation, and particularly in the relationships that we have in our own communities, locally as well. So to really kind of usher us into that moment, I would love to introduce Earl Varai in his song, Sam Cooke's song, A Change Is Coming. So if Alvin, if you can cue it up, we can lead it away. Everyone in the chat box, give it up one time for Earl Varai, y'all.
Yeah. Get it.
No.
I was born by the river in a little tent. Oh, and just like the river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. It's been too hard to live it, but I'm afraid to die, 'cause I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. When I go to the movies, said when I go downtown, somebody keeps telling me, so don't hang around. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. Then I go to my brother, and I said, brother, help me please. Then he winds up knocking me back down on my knees. And oh, there be times that I thought I could last for long. Now I think I'm able to carry on. It's been a long
unmute yourself, make some noise.
Amazing.
Yo. Before we close out, thank you so much, Earl, for that beautiful, beautiful rendition of the song. You just made our Tuesday, y'all. It's only Tuesday. So before we jump out, I want to pass the mic to one of our student members, Jazz, for a special announcement. And after that, we're going to take a group picture because that's what Filipinos do, y'all.
Hi, I'm just gonna promote one of our events from Intercultural Center happening at 12 to 1 to 2. It's called Tell 'em Boy Tuesdays. It's a weekly event, and this week we're gonna learn more about Elaine, which is our. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Jay. And on behalf of Ty, Ty, how you feeling, bro?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling real good. That last performance was amazing.
Yes. No, I appreciate you co-hosting with us on behalf of Ty. We want to thank everybody who's in attendance to really capture this beautiful, legendary moment. Without further ado, I'm gonna pass the mic to Bobby Gubatina because we got to get that photo, John.
Thank you, Nate. Appreciate you. Y'all were amazing. Thank you for making my Tuesday morning poppin'. You know what I mean? I just took a shower today just to make sure we all look good today. So I'm glad the feels is on, right? If you haven't done so already, I reposted the Zoom background. So please, I encourage y'all to take this picture with the Zoom background so we got matchy. It's like that Filipino family reunion where everybody get the shirts, right? So just want to shout out Nikki Sagam for creating the Zoom. Go tap into her IG, and I'm gonna throw it one more time for the Padlet. All the stuff you could find in there. So what I'm gonna be doing, since there's hella people in here, there was like how many people were there? Were like close to 95 people up in here. So if you feel like you want to go take this picture, and then we'll send it out to y'all. So I encourage y'all to open your video screen, background or no background, and we'll just take this picture. All right, I'll give it a little bit time. Yes, have your hat on, fix your hair, do whatever you gotta do to get ready, and I'll count it down. Yeah, I see y'all. Don't trip. That's why we're gonna wait a little bit to get yourselves ready. It's Gucci. Thank you if you're in your car. Appreciate y'all being here. Yep, there we go. All right, I'm gonna do it in. Make sure you in, and then I'll post it in. I'll take this picture in 3, 2, 1. All right, one more time. Change your pose if you choose. 1, 2, 3. That's good. All right, thank you, everybody. I will be posting the picture in the Padlet so y'all could grab it later, but we really appreciate y'all for coming and sharing space with us. With that being said, happy Tuesday and happy Filipino American History Month. Thank y'all.
Happy Tuesday. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, everyone.
Ty, Nate, Elaine, if you could stay a little bit, or our panelists, we like to do a brief debrief if you want to stay. You could turn off record, Nate, and Ryan, sorry.